right-footed delivery looking at the front post, and the second goal is in! Ross County have scored again! It's Alex Iacovitti!
Here come Ross County anyway. It's Craig going through! They've got their goal! Ross County are living the dream!
No, you tell me. No, they are. We were murdered them in the first half.
Tilson, Sims, in comes the cross, and George Harden has put it away! Bang on the 90!
Twisted into the path, Peter Woods, who's managed to find Shaw, big chance! It looks like deja vu here in Hampden! Alex Shaw strokes Ross County into a 3-1 lead against the holders!
And I was like, I'm sorry for my language, but I've got cramp. The 85 minute I was down because I had cramp. I couldn't run anymore. And I said to myself, Alex, can't do another half hour. I can't do another half hour. I swear to God, that was what I was thinking.
Hello and welcome back to the Staggies View podcast. We've managed to escape the grasp of inconsistencies this week, and we are finally here for 2 consecutive episodes. Well, luckily for you, that means we have just one match to talk about this week compared to the abomination of 12 in a row getting covered last week. It was all a bit much. But keeping on form with the brand, this week you can expect to hear a breakdown of our Friday, Saturday pre-match doubleheader antics, a wee bit on the football probably, and a fair amount regarding the consumption of beverages. This is Season 5, Episode 11. I'm your host, Peter Mackay, for what I'm sure is about to be a very cheery Staggies View podcast after that result at the weekend. Well, joining me in jubilant fashion this weekend, of course, we have Ramsey Banks. How are you, mate?
I'm wonderful, mate. And can I just say, 10 out of 10 weekend, unbelievable.
Yeah, very, very good. Now I'm going to challenge you here and say, aside from the weekend, can you give me a highlight of your week?
This week, like, as in starting Monday?
Yeah, well, since we were last recorded.
Oh, okay. I tell you what, I don't know how I didn't say this immediately. Darts in Glasgow. I went to the Premier League of Darts.
Oh, yeah.
Which was unbelievable.
Lovely.
Atmosphere was class. Getting to see the walk-ons was class in person. Belting out Titanium, belting out Mr. Brightside. Just class, unbelievable. Went with my uncle Al and Auntie Lynn. Shout out to them. Just a class night, really.
And you got to see that unbelievable Luke Littler turnaround in the flesh. That's quite something.
I did, however, Rob Cross is one of my favourite players, so swings and roundabouts.
There you go.
Your best mate, Liam.
Yeah, my pal, the Voltage.
Well, as you know now, also joining us on the podcast today for the second week running, for the first time ever, I think. Of course, Liam Miller. How are you, mate?
I'm doing good. Yeah, much the same. 10 out of 10 weekend. I think I'm still recovering a bit. So I feel a bit knackered yesterday. Like, wow. But we're here. We're surviving.
And obviously, I'll pose the same question to yourself. A highlight of the weekend. Can I predict what yours might be potentially last night?
Well, last night was pretty good, yeah. I was seeing Inhaler at the O2 Academy, who are exceptional as per usual. Elijah, his voice was gone though because he was quite ill. So the crowd had to sing a bit more than usual, but it was so good.
I'm sure that was no challenge for you. Yeah, you had a good warm up on Saturday, singing wise. Yeah. So
I was tempted to get up and replace him. I was like, "Come on, Elijah, get me up there." You know? Sing the jail. Wow. You guys know the jail.
Should have got he's never heard of Torridon, lads. Oh, poor. Anyway, you both mentioned
I've got cramp in my foot.
What a start.
Sorry, I tried to hold that in for like a good minute there. If you seen me wince, you're like, oh wow. Give it a second.
Star doesn't mean to go
Right.
on.
I'll adjust my seating position. We'll go again.
The beauty of live podcasting. Well, lads, you both mentioned 10 out of 10 weekend. I'll come to you, Ramsey, first. We love a big Friday night. Talk to me about how your Friday played out and rolled into a perfect Saturday.
Well, it was the world's most romantic Valentine's Day with Face the West, and then Gunna were playing the Gunna Sound Ceilidh band were playing at the Park Bar, and I was saying all day. Everyone was like, "Oh, we're going to be hard pushed to see both bands," and I was like, "Nah, we're going to see both bands." Lo and behold, we managed to see both. Face the West were absolutely unreal. Just an absolute 10 out of 10 gig. It was at King Tut's. The only thing I would have that would have made it better was more space for spinning. But after that, we went to the park. Saw Gunna, who were just a lovely pair of guys, weren't they?
Yeah, top notch as usual. And as you said, that was the goal. The ultimate goal was, can we see both bands? And boy, Liam, did we see both bands?
We gave them a seat into it. That's for sure. Oh man, I remember seeing them in parts. Yeah, they were amazing. Like, that was my first time seeing Gunna as well.
Yeah, that's mental. That is mental. Yeah, same for Gordy. It was his first time as well. Yeah, that when they started playing Crofter's Son, wow, brilliant. What an anthem.
Place.
Indeed,
It's the same for me as well. I'd never seen them in person before.
Really? Wow, that's mad. That only me and Robbie had seen them in person. Anyway,
I know.
Yeah, they're top tier. The best you can get in Park. Yeah, just unbelievable. What a night. And yeah, that really kicked off and showed some intent for what was set to be a great Saturday. Well, Liam will come to you next. Do you want to just talk us through our rousing Saturday morning traversing through the streets of Motherwell?
Yeah. Well, I was very hungover. Don't know about you guys, but
Wasn't great.
I felt horrific. What time did we end up leaving? About 10:30?
Oh, I think it might have been about 11, to be honest with you.
11 maybe.
Yeah.
And got to the train station. Robbie produced some cans, didn't he? We cocktails. To just start off the day. There was no way I was going near that mojito. I couldn't even stand the smell of it at that point. And then, unfortunately, we arrived in the dump that is Motherwell. No offense to anybody who lives in Motherwell, but it is terrible. And straight to spoons, as per usual. Staggies usual tradition. Come on. I had a breakfast. Robbie had a steak. What did you guys have?
I just had a breakfast, yeah.
Well,
we got there at like 10:02, didn't we? And it was like 10 minutes until lunch. Man, I was starving, so I was like, breakfast.
Yeah, I was a little bit worse for wear, so didn't actually manage a full meal. Just managed a couple of sides. Thought I better look after the.
For some reason, I was actually pretty fresh, which was weird because when I woke up, I felt, and I can't stress it enough, I felt hellish. I was like, this is gonna be like a real struggle. Like, when you wake up, there's a half-eaten takeaway next to you don't remember getting. It's just not the best feeling in the world. But you know what? I saw your text to get to Robbie's. I got up, got the subway over, and by the time I was walking into Robbie's, I was feeling okay. So.
I mean, to be fair, by the time you were in Robbie's, still none of us were barely showered, and you'd already arrived. So you showed more intent than the rest of us. But what I was going to say there, Ramsey, is, are we changing our stance on the Brandon Works? Because obviously we know, long-time listeners of this podcast will know, the last time you and I were there with Robbie, we had a bit of a mishap, ended up ordering 2 steaks each. Long story short, customer service
did it again with pints.
Yeah, but it was better this time. The customer service was better. Are we giving it a bit more credit than perhaps we maybe would have?
I mean, the manager wasn't coming over every 2 seconds to take the piss out of us this time. So that was
definitely a
lot
positive.
better. But you know what? It's a good Spoons, good location, not far from the train station, not far from the Brandon bar. There's a lot of Brandons in Motherwell.
Yeah.
Decent location, decent Spoons, decent food, decent drink. Just let Spoons go. I mean, I've said decent a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. And as you mentioned, the Brandon bar, Liam, just a good, old-fashioned, classic, bit dirty, good pub, but the saving grace and the plus point, jukebox.
I mean, what more do you want? It's a proper boozer.
That's
Like,
that's the great way to describe
boozer.
it. Yeah,
Big
100%.
Brexit boozer.
But I was lovely as well.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah. Decently priced drinks, not too expensive. And obviously the jukebox, which got so many tunes. I think, did we go Pete and Diesel first?
Yeah, I think so.
Loch Marie first off.
Yeah, Loch Marie.
Yeah.
And as soon as that turned on, the Well boys walked straight out the pub because they knew what was good for them.
Well, I was going to mention that, we didn't get what was coming to us. I was initially a bit thinking, well, what's going to end up happening here? The Well boys in their wee orange tracksuits looking nice and cute, but yeah, they left themselves to themselves when they heard Barbie Girl coming on the jukebox. Yeah, like you said, a great pub and a perfect pre-match bar. I would go as far as arguing. But before we talk about the actual game itself, Liam, yourself and Robbie, there was a bit of a ticket mishap there. Do you want to talk to us about what happened?
No. Right. I mean, if Motherwell couldn't get any worse, their ticketing is horrendous. Like, everybody knows who's gone to these games. Like, trying to find your reference number from the previous ticket purchase. Like, what is that all about? Like,
yeah,
they don't just sort it out.
I don't understand why you have to have one.
Yeah,
you don't have to have one anywhere else.
Like, what happened to good old fashioned buying a ticket at the gate as well? So we'll start there. There was already mumblings going on during the week because I couldn't. My Ticketmaster account got locked, and for some reason that has a bearing on whether I can get a ticket to Motherwell away. And I hadn't had it sorted, and I was like, it'll be fine because there'll be a ticket office. And obviously, last time we were in the main stand, so there was a ticket office there. This time we were at the away stand, and we went round, nowhere to be seen.
However, I was convinced that there was.
I ticket office as well. There must have been.
I have definitely bought a ticket out of a porter cabin there before.
In the corner. So I was in the corner. Said there was a pipe band, which there's no use to me getting in.
What's
as good as they were. They were amazing. They were good. But they didn't get me into the game. So how did we figure it out? I think, did you logged in on Robbie's phone?
Yeah.
To buy me a ticket, which worked, and I got in, but then Robbie's ticket disappeared.
Yeah, I still don't know if I believe him that it just disappeared.
But he said it's on his. He couldn't find the email, but he went on his bank statement and it said like £19 to Motherwell, like the day, but he bought on like Thursday or something. So
yeah,
and then Steve was outside for the first like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I think he argued his case with a couple of stewards, and then I think one steward must have felt bad for him and said, just get in and shut up.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, how many county fans are bunking tickets to games?
I know.
Yeah,
I feel like there was a shortage of seats either.
Yeah.
There's always one steward at each ground in the country that's just like, come on. Mind when I had trouble getting into St. Mirren away, I just
Yes.
went in until I found the steward who took pity on me, and he was just like, "Yeah, just get it."
Yeah, that's the play. You just got to find sympathy somewhere in the ground.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, got into the ground. First thing I noticed, we were meant to be in the top tier. The top tier was closed. Is that good or bad?
Good.
Good. Yeah, I'm not a fan of being like it just feels like your chants just like kind of dissipate into the air and no one can hear it.
I think there's like circumstances, like say for example Hearts, when you're right up the back, good, but it's all one stand, so it's fine. Like you can move freely. Whereas like in Motherwell, if we went up the top,
as well,
we're just stuck. You know, like you go up there, that's you. Like you can't get anywhere near the pitch.
Just trying to like lose us in the stadium. They're like put
Exactly.
them as far away as possible.
Whereas like I think what happened is like, well, obviously we were winning the game, and then when all the fans kind of like moved down the front at the end to appreciate the team and clap the team, like you want to be able to do that. Like I thought that was really good. So ideal scenario for me was the top tier being shut off, because I would have struggled to see the ball probably as well, which is another thing. So yeah. But I mean, I suppose that leads us into the game. And Ramsey, it wasn't the best starts. Tony walked through on goal and probably should have scored.
Yeah, Tompkinson, who to be fair had a decent game, just sent to the shops, which wasn't a great start, but bit lucky there. Also, credit to Amisa for reacting quickly to it coming back off the post. He made it look easy, but yeah, it's not. So,
and then following that, Liam, I mean, up until we opened the scoring, not much to comment on. That it was pretty tight, I suppose.
Yeah, that the Viking looking boy up front for them, he had a few good. Well, he had a few good and a few really, really bad touches, but he looked like a bit of a handful for the first 10 minutes. Yeah, but
I would say I thought we were, especially after the first 10 minutes, I thought we were noticeably the better team. I don't think Motherwell had much at all after they hit the post.
Yeah, completely agree with that. And then, as we said, once we opened the scoring, I think that was it. And opened the scoring, we did in great fashion. Ronan Hale was back in the starting 11, and he opened the scoring with a great low finish beyond Ellery Balcom, who I didn't realise had signed for Motherwell and had a terrible game. I think that boy would struggle to catch a cold in a hospital. But, Eli Campbell with a never seen before unbelievable dribble inside the pitch, and then handed it over to Chilvers, who slipped in Ronan Hale, and he just thumped it home beyond the keeper, Liam. It was just kind of a perfect goal, if you will.
Beautiful. What a player. Ronan Hale. It was a good, such a good team goal as well. We've struggled to score good goals. We've scored a few from distance, obviously we're right, and the Chilvers and that, but a well-worked goal is what I miss seeing. It's it either has to be a wonder goal or a scrappy goal. There's no playing through the team and then with a nice finish at the end of it. It was good to see.
Yeah, would you agree with that, Ramsey?
I would, although I wouldn't say never before seen with Campbell. I think he's shown he can sort of take the ball and carry it forward. My problems with Campbell come when it comes to actually defending. I think with the ball at his feet, he's a decent player, and he definitely done well there. As did Chilvers, as did Hale, obviously, with a really good finish on his weaker side.
Yeah, 100%. And then from then on in my opinion, we were pretty comfortable. Probably the most comfortable we'd been in a game since Dundee away on Boxing Day. Motherwell had a lot of the ball, weren't really doing much with it, and when they did come forward, we were more than matching them at the back. Player for player and just collectively. And then not long after half time, Ronan Hale decided to score again. He added another one, doubled his tally and an advantage. But before we talk about the finish, Ramsey, what about the pass from Noah Chilvers?
Before that, and obviously it's great play from Chilvers, who I think was man of the match, but I just want to say, what the fuck was the Motherwell team like? What were they doing? completely parted like the Red Sea under so little pressure. Like
there was such a big gap for that
their
pass.
centre backs are on top of each other. What was going on? But
to be fair, I think
I mean, it comes from the other side of the back through this time. Tompkinson has a little bit of a run, plays it into Chilvers, who, you know, I was making fun of Motherwell giving him so much space, but it was a perfectly picked pass. And yeah, another similarly good finish from Hill, which is really good to see because he's had a bit of time out of the team. And I've said again and again, Ronan Hill has got to be starting because he is just so good.
Yeah, 100%. And Liam, in my opinion anyway, I think those two chances kind of sum up what you want from Ronan Hill and the team. Like, if you create something in and around the box, I think you can be confident in him more times than not to go and put it in the back of the net because his natural finishing, it just is that good.
Yeah. I mean, he's a penalty box striker, isn't he? But to be fair, he scored some crackers, but his position is you just want to get into his feet in the box, and he'll, if he hits the target, it's going in. Like he's that good. Which I mean, I don't know if we're going to come on, but I thought Kieran Phillips was excellent. I thought he was a really good partnership because that's kind of how Hale's been out of the team, is that we've struggled to find him someone to play off of. And I think him and Phillips will be a really, really good strike partnership.
100%. That's something I was going to mention for, we're talking about the amount of space that was in the Motherwell team. And I think the run from Phillips to know to separate and go the other way, I think just that intelligence and kind of something Dawn mentioned today at the presser as well is, not only are they a good partnership, when they're both on the ball, but to have that kind of understanding and to know where each other are going to go. I mean, Liam, you called for that partnership in last week's podcast. I'm assuming it's something you'll be calling for again next week.
Absolutely. I mean, it just offers us something different because when we've seen White, I love White. I think he's amazing, but I think he does love to drop deep, which then means Hale is the one up by himself. Whereas with Phillips was just running onto every ball in the corner and behind. He was going for it, and then that means Hale can find himself enough space to get the ball in the box and score. It's like I think that works a lot better. In my
100%. And I don't know, did you two notice this? But he almost did a Gareth Bale. When Gareth Bale the ball and ran off the pitch. He's nearly took out the lines.
I thought he was going to get there as well.
Yeah, he was close. And I think that just shows you how hard he was willing to work. And obviously he got subbed off, but again, I think that was testament to just the amount of effort and running that he put in on the day. Yeah. And despite not having a goal or an assist to show for it, I definitely think he was up there as being one of our top performers.
It really helps Chilvers as well, because the thing about having a number 10 as your creative force instead of wingers is that, in Scotland especially, that sort of, beginning of the final third and just midfields in general are so congested. So if you have someone like Phillips to stretch the pitch, it gives Chilvers more space, as we saw for that second goal. That's catastrophic. I have to say again, what were they doing? That is horrific.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, while we're on that topic, and before we talk about the third and final goal, obviously the whole team are to be praised, and we can go back and look at kind of individual performances in a moment. But for me, Noah Chilvers was man of the match, and I think every game I see him, he seems to get better. And even if we lose, I think you see something different or something new from him. And I think just the more time he spends in that number 10 role, I think the more he develops. He's unbelievable. And there's a question coming at the end of the podcast, which will be a very interesting debate. But, would you two agree that he's been by far one of our best players this season already?
Yeah, something I love that we don't see often with county players, because players with skill like that tend to go to other clubs, but like a county player who likes to do like fancy skills. And I know when they don't come off, he sometimes look a little bit silly or give away the ball or whatever, but everything he touched turned to gold on Saturday. He was absolutely unbelievable. I think it was against Kilmarnock where he got Liam Donnelly sent off. I think I said he had a 9 out of 10 performance. That was one of his best performances for the club. I think, I think Saturday from Chilvers was an honest to God 10 out of 10. He was unbelievable. All it was missing was a goal.
Yeah, 100%. Liam, did you expect him to be this good when he signed? And obviously, he's had a bit of pressure on him as well to come in and be that talisman and be that replacement, for Jan Danda. In my opinion, I think he's living up to it.
Yeah, definitely. Because he was captain of Colchester, wasn't he? And like we knew he was a player. Like all their fans loved him. And I mean, I think they maybe said he was a bit lazy, but he doesn't seem lazy at all. Like he's the opposite of lazy. He's everywhere all the time. I think he's just so good at getting not afraid to take anybody on, and then he's got end product as well. Like he can make that incisive pass. He can shoot from wherever he wants. Like he just is that good.
And obviously, we don't want to bring negatives onto such a positive podcast, but it has to be said, we lose our best players. That's just where we are in the food chain. I think we're probably all envisioning that he is one who will inevitably be targeted by bigger clubs than us.
Yeah. I have to say, though, like Wright, Hale, Chilvers, we have this conversation every year, but I don't remember feeling this secure before while having it because, we've had Charles Cook 6 months left.
Simon and Jan.
Danda, Murray, even before with Boyce and Irvin having very little time left. The core of our team are all on 3-year contracts. And it feels fantastic because before we've had the conversation again and again, would you rather have the money or the player to help us stay up? And now we're going to have these players till the end of the season, maybe for longer. It doesn't feel as stressful as it usually does.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a tweet. I think it was yesterday, and it was like a Motherwell fan going, "Well, I think we found our Blair Spittle replacement," like alluding to Chilvers, and it's like, no, I don't think they can afford it. Like, I actually don't. I think he's above that level. That's like the type of player we've got here on a long contract. Like, it's great.
The thing is, Motherwell fans will point to us offering Blair Spittle a new contract and him choosing to go to Motherwell, but the circumstances around that were completely different. He was trying to move closer to home. He's got a young family. It was the Marcus Fraser situation. Noah Chilvers, it's totally different. If he were to move, it would not be to a team like Motherwell.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And obviously mentioning Noah Chilvers, he's definitely going to be in this top 3. And to quickly answer Rory McDonald's question, who are your top 3 players this season? I mean, I'll just kick things off, and I would say Chilvers, Akil Wright, 100%. I think he's been so consistent and an absolute revelation in the back line. And now we've seen him play in multiple different positions and be just as good. Don actually said today in a press conference he thinks he could play him anywhere and he would do a job. Hopefully he means not anywhere bar goals.
Striker.
Yeah, number 1 is Akil Wright. And number 2 is Akil Wright.
I mean, then you get to the third one, it becomes a bit more difficult. We've had a lot of decent performers this season. Jordi Amissa, some people would probably put him in there. But my third one, I'd go for Ronan Hale. I think his finishing, his goal scoring has been key this season. I think will continue to be so. And I think this kind of little run of form he's found just now, I think's been crucial. And coming into a run of games where they're all winnable, in my opinion, I think he could be very, very important. Ramsey, Liam, one of you next.
Akil Wright's in there, and one player who doesn't get into mind but is unfortunate to miss out is Kasper Lapata. I think he's been just absolutely solid. I mean, his Twitter bio, I realized I didn't follow him at the weekend, so I followed him, and his Twitter bio says heads the ball for Barnsley. Well, it's not for Barnsley at the moment, but that boy makes some amount of headers. I'm putting Akil Wright second. I think, call it recency bias, but I'm putting Noah Chilvers at the top. I think he's had that many good performances now. and I'm putting Ronan Hale third. And the only reason he isn't higher is because he's had a couple spells out the team, which, granted, not really his fault, but I think can't really argue with the goal return. One more who's unlucky to miss out is Connor Randall. I think he's been very consistent. He's well worth the captain's armband. I think making him captain, a choice that's been coming for a while now. He's obviously, the past few managers have spoken about him as being this leader figure, even though apparently he's not the loudest person. I think he's been fantastic. There's probably someone else I'm missing. Also, he came far too recently, so he's not near this conversation for me. But I'm fast beginning to eat my words when it comes to Nohan Kenna. I think he's a player that I've made no secret of the fact that when he was here in his first spell, I think, to put it mildly, I wasn't his biggest fan. So when I saw him coming back, I think my reaction was not the most positive, to say the least. But since he's been back, I think it's a testament to how hard he's probably worked after the past little while. I think he's just been outstanding.
Yeah, Liam, your top three.
I think I would put Wright first. I think he's been as much as no, would I? Yeah, go on,
mate. Would you?
I don't know. Yeah, I think the top two choose themselves. I think it is Chilvers and Wright in any particular order. And they've both been unbelievable. We've had we're getting a reputation for being conceding the most goals in the league, and we'll discuss that a bit later on. But I think Wright's come in and he's been so good, so commanding. He can properly lead that defence, which we were missing. And he can do everything else as well. It's just, so good. And obviously Chilvers is just Neymar, as far as I'm concerned. What a player. That the third spot is a bit more difficult. I think it probably is Hale because he's scoring. But I think Amissa is maybe not hard done by. He's probably not been here long enough to be the third, but he's an honourable mention of mine.
Yeah, 100%. Completely agree with that.
That's
with so when you go, Ramsey.
That Amissa, that is some piece of recruitment. I mean, you're talking about a player who was the number one goalkeeper, Ross Laidlaw, out injured. We were starting Jack Hamilton with Logan Ross on the bench. I was about to say young Logan Ross. He's literally the same age as I am. When you bring a goalkeeper in to sort of stop a youth player going on the bench, you don't expect them to be anything spectacular, but he got his chance. Oh my God, he's taken it. He looks absolutely unbelievable. I think a priority needs to be getting him tied up for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that. Good bit of intervening chat there, but back on track to talk about the Motherwell game. If 2-0 up wasn't as fun as it is, is it chicken time?
Before we move on, it's chicken time.
Okay, right.
Do you want to come on a tour?
Yeah, show us your roast chicken.
Okay. Come on.
This is a great bit of content.
That's exceptional. Guys, you're in for a treat.
If you're listening on Spotify without the video, you better turn the video on.
I need another.
It's like a young Gordon Ramsay there.
Boys.
You're
that sesame.
That sounds unreal.
Feast your eyes on that bad boy.
Wow. Can you talk to us about the seasoning that you put on there?
I was going to ask,
There was Tesco's all-purpose seasoning. It's all right, does the job. It's a bit as close to uni halls as you can get. I think my uni halls is bigger, actually.
No, if that's uni halls, I'd love to live there. My uni halls weren't that good.
Yeah, mighty
Collie.
hulking rats running about all over the place.
Liam, you lived in Cali Court. How is that anywhere near Cali
Yeah,
Court?
Cali Court was a dump, like.
Yeah, indeed it was. Well, Liam, I enjoyed that chicken interlude. Thank you for that.
No bother. Just bringing the content to the people.
There you go. Well, lads, if 2-0 up wasn't as fun enough, then the skipper, Conor Randall, he decided might as well just slam home a third from outside the box in unexpected fashion. I mean, we've seen him hit Rose Ed a few times this season, but he hit it and it clipped the post perfectly on its way in. 3-0 up, 3 points, clean sheet, up to 10th, and happy birthday, Don Cowie. That goal just rounded it off perfectly, didn't it, Liam?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the amount of times Randall's been in that position is just ridiculous. Like, one of them had to go in. I was so glad it was Saturday. It just kind of rolled in. Like, it wasn't especially hard. It was just glided into that bottom corner, and obviously in off the post, and just celebration said it all as well. I think he felt it looked like he was quite relieved that he'd finally scored from there, and we were all buzzing about it.
100%, Ramsey. I think some would describe that as a daisy cutter.
Oh yeah, that was as Liam said, it wasn't the fastest shot in the world, but it just seemed to arrow out of the reach of the goalkeeper. It looked for a moment, if you look at it in slow motion, it looks for a moment like he might get it, but it just keeps going. It just keeps going away from him, and yeah, it was such a nice moment. Obviously for the captain to get a goal, and afterwards, we've been trying to start the happy birthday Don Cowie chat all game, and it was the perfect moment for it. It got a little wave of acknowledgement, so I hope the gaffer had a good birthday. He was rewarded with 3 points, and then all the fans down the front at the end of the game. Just really nice moment.
100%. It was just a perfect performance, and in my opinion, an all-time great away day weekend. And obviously we've praised some individuals already. Noah Chilvers, Ronan Hale, obviously getting both the goals. The skipper, Conor Randall, dogged in midfield as usual. But I'll come to both of you, Ramsey, you first. Any other standouts that you want to mention? It would be easy to sit and name the whole team, but because, genuinely, I think that on the day, every single player was at it and played well. But Ramsey, any particular standouts that were looking good for you?
Nothing against Zach Ashworth, but I think George Harmon showed just how unlucky he was to be dropped in the first place. I think, just a very, very solid performance from him. I think he's the best left back at the club. Lee started so many chants on Saturday.
He was the conductor down the front.
He's a legend. There you go, Gordy. Great performance down the front of the stand. Oh, Lee's here.
Oh, here he is.
The man himself.
Our conductor. I think we've mentioned Akil Wright before, but I think, great job at right wing back. Didn't look out of place at all.
Yeah, 100%. Liam, what about yourself? Some standouts from Saturday's game?
I would say Amissa was really good again. I thought, although it was pretty comfortable, we kind of cruised to a 3-0 win, but Motherwell at the end did have some chances, and Amissa was so big and so strong that he got to them. I think there was quite a looping one that I remember him tipping over the bar, and one down to the near post as well. That he made some good saves. But from front to back, I thought we were good. I thought the subs were good coming on. It was just all around amazing.
Yeah, 100%. I just think the back line for me, obviously Ramsey, you mentioned Harmon, Amissa as well, Akil Wright, obviously Eli Campbell we mentioned with that driving run into midfield, but equally I think Tompkinson on just his his third game, I think looks really assured, and I think is another good bit of business, and it allows us to be more flexible with Akil Wright. And when we didn't have a right back in the squad, it didn't mean that we had to change shape and play a 4, or have a left footer playing on the right. So that worked out really well, and I think he'll definitely be keeping his place in the team. I thought he was fantastic, and again, Kasper Lapata he's just great. The man he's got a head of steel. Honestly, I do fear for him in the future. I think he might suffer with headaches and migraines maybe down the line in a few years when he retires. But that's no complaint to me, because he's just unbelievable, and the sheer organization that he brings as well. I think when he's not in the team, we really, really miss him.
Lapata. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say, like, for that level of responsibility to be on a young loan player as well, it is even more impressive.
Yeah, on Lapata, you just said it, as a loan player. I think, it's not as flashy as some loans we have in the past, like Joseph Hungbo. He's going straight into my list of never fall in love with a loan player examples.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I think I was just checking. We have indeed. You said we were not going to single everyone out for praise, but we have now mentioned every member of the starting 11.
Success.
Come on.
Another thing I wanted to mention, just on the defence, 4 wins out of 5 in our last 5 away matches. The only loss being to Rangers. Clean sheets against Dundee, Kilmarnock, and Motherwell away from home. 2-1 win against Aberdeen, scoring 3 against Dundee, scoring 3 against Motherwell. I mean, the turnaround in away form has been absolutely unbelievable, and I'm handing all my credit to the gaffer, Don Cowie. I think we went through a difficult spell, and a lot of people started to get a bit frustrated, not necessarily be Don Cowie out. If you read the Facebook comments, that might be the reception that you would get. But and I think it was justified. The form was bad. The football wasn't great. But he's turned it around, and he's an unbelievable manager. And I hope Watford don't sack Tom Cleverley, because I can see that pathway being created already. I think, I feel like if
fan we met in the pub.
Yes, great shout. Forgot, good guy. But I think the way that Don Cowie's, came in such an awful period off the back of Derek Adams, calmed things down, sorted it out, kept us in the league, then has revolutionised the squad, brought in all these amazing players on 3-year deals. Yet again, in January, realised where the deadwood is, who's not being used, loaned them out or got rid of them, revolutionised the squad to an extent again. And I think this squad is the strongest it's looked in a long, long time. Just unbelievable. And that's a great point from Ross Morin. Have I missed the pie chart? No, we shall get onto that now.
You haven't. I think as well on Don, I think I just want to say how well he's handled himself, and through obviously the tough period of the defeats we have. I know someone made that compilation of him going extremely disappointed, like over and over and over again. And fair enough, it can be frustrating when you're going through a hard period and the manager is just saying the same thing every single time. But I think it just shows what a calm guy he is. He's not going to come out and say anything outrageous or throw the players under the bus. I know it can be frustrating to watch when we're losing game after game, and it frustrated me sometimes too. But I just think it speaks to his personality. And now that we're winning again, I think we're seeing the rewards that he hasn't said anything mental like our pal Derek.
Well, that's what I was going to allude to. I remember one podcast last year, Liam, you had a great quote. I can't remember exactly what it was word for word, but it's basically, do you want you want kind of a cross between managers in terms of what you're getting post match? But I think Don Cowie's definitely on the calm end of that. But as you mentioned, Ramsey, you would much rather that than your manager coming out and saying your players are rubbish, Morecambe would batter us, I hate it here, I shouldn't have signed back, and all this absolute drivel. So I think when we're losing, just take the disappointment quotes on the chin and just be patient. And I mean, look what's happened now. We've turned it right around.
You can definitely tell he's been. Well, I don't. This will sound bad, but he's been Malcolm Mackay media trained.
that sounds terrible.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
The obvious things that Malcolm Mackay's said and done, that's not what I mean. But I mean, in terms of press conference, he says nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just like Malky would come out and say we played well and we got battered. Just to take the flack away from the team. And I think Cowie's really good at that.
Yeah. Sorry, that got me off guard. That let's not go slapping accusations on Don.
No. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant, guys. Come on.
Yeah, I actually forgot about this. We are well past half time now, but we must go back and talk about not only one in particular said pie, but Motherwell FC catering as a whole. I mean, Liam, do you want to take it away and share your halftime experience?
Just that was the worst pie experience ever. I think that's the worst it's been. I mean, we got there, and there's 4 people behind one till, right? 4, okay. I went up to one of them. One guy was like, I don't know if he had any brain cells. He didn't say a word to me. And so then I asked him, can I get a steak pie? And the woman next to him, who was sitting chewing gum in her fake Montclair behind the till, went, nah, no steak. I got mince butt. And I was like, it was like the most rude thing ever. Like, I should have known they didn't have any steak pies. Bearing in mind, we left early. So there must have been 10 people in front of us. So I was just like, what is going on? So I was like, fine, I'll have a mince pie then and a water. And then one guy got the pie, the girl got the water, the guy who had no brain cells was just standing there. I was rubbish.
Was it?
Yeah, it was rubbish. It was like it'd been left out for like weeks, and then they reheated.
Yeah, the mince pies weren't great, to be fair.
Oh,
is that what you had as well, Ramsey?
I had a mince pie.
Well, I'll be honest with you, lads. Liam, I agree with everything.
However, though, how did I forget this? I had a doner pie as well.
Okay, talk to me about
more than one pie.
Talk to me about let's have a doner pie review, please.
The doner pie was one of the best I've ever had at the football, and it was worth the extremely strange interaction with the woman at the kiosk.
Well, there you go. Lee says steak pie was all right. Well, lads, you missed a trick. Liam likewise went up to the counter, a bit confused by how they have a whole building's worth of shutters and kiosks, and they all just decided to pile behind one till. And then I was also a bit taken aback by the cattle-like crush we were filtered into to get our pie. I was feeling a bit claustrophobic. And then went out to the till. Hiya, how you doing? Could I have a chicken curry pie and a Charsley pie? Nay, curry. Oh, all right. I'll just have a Charsley then, please. But boy, that was probably the best decision I made that weekend. Charsley pie, 9.7 out of 10. There you go.
Really?
I tried to get one. Didn't have any.
Best pie I've had at a football game.
I'd have to put my toilet roll in the fridge before having that.
Aye, that was going to be my next point. The repercussions, not ideal.
Is that what the point 3 was off for?
What was it? Yeah. And it was a wee bit too spicy for my palate, for my black ale palate. Yeah, no.
I've never heard that phrase before. I think that's the best thing I've heard all day.
What, toilet roll in the fridge?
Toilet roll in the fridge, aye.
Hey, you should try it. It's delightful.
Have you actually done that?
There's your Chichester top tip for the week. Is put your toilet roll in the fridge.
Yeah. So yeah, no, Chelsea pie is fantastic. Customer service, terrible. Were you both there for the moment where the boy that we're now referring to him as the boy with no brain cells came out and shouted down the queue for 100 people?
Or should we
no pies?
throw it back to an earlier episode and call him the goldfish?
The goldfish, yeah.
The
Aye, let's do
goldfish
that.
returns.
The goldfish. You got a new job.
Poor Sheath, man.
But yeah, no, great pie, terrible kiosk service.
But also, there was a severe lack of pies.
Yeah,
It's not long after I sat down with my pie, a boy came in and was like, "I've just got the last pie." I was like, "How? You were like not that far behind me."
I know. No, like genuinely, there was about 100 people in the queue, and he came out and he shouted, "We have no pies left." And what? I mean, it's only 5 minutes into half time.
Sort it out, Motherwell. Sort it out.
Yeah, terrible. They obviously underestimated how hungry the Staggies can be. So yeah, there you go. But that was good. Enjoyed that pie review from the both of you. But to we might get some more mentions here. But to round up the Motherwell clash as a whole, we must go to everyone's favourite segment: the good, the bad, the ugly. Seeing as we had such a positive weekend, we'll leave the best to last. We'll go the good last. We'll start with the ugly. Liam Miller.
Oh, the ugly has got to be that Viking-looking striker from Motherwell. It has to be. No offense to him, but wow, he could do with a good wash. Like,
interesting. Ramsey.
That like Motherwell Ultra section, Block 5 or whatever they're called.
Block E.
Fair.
Block E, sorry. Well, that's close. Fifth letter of the alphabet.
I'll just keep it simple. Is that lad? It is the lad from Carlisle. Yeah, he's the boy you're on about, Liam. I think his name's Armstrong. Signed on loan from Carlisle, I believe.
That's what trampoline.
Yeah. I think I'll just stick with what we had, and I think I'll go ugly. Lack of organization from said kiosk staff and just the Motherwell as a whole. I think, yeah, do better. The bad. Liam, this is difficult because we're normally shite and we normally have loads of negatives to talk about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one.
Go on then, mate.
Maybe I should have put as well. Yeah, exactly, Lee. And I probably should have had this as my ugly and chosen another bad, but there was a point where George Harman had making a run forward and he like got tripped over or pushed over or fell over or something. I looked in like a little bit of pain, nothing crazy, but anyway, while he was on the ground, and I wish I knew who it was, one of the Motherwell players and bent down and like started yelling in his face.
Yeah. I'll find it. He was number 5, wasn't he?
Is that Casey, I think?
Was he? Well,
no. Balmer, Kofi Balmer.
Right. Well, yeah. I don't know. Just
fair.
A shite teammate.
Yeah. That was gonna be my point there. I was gonna.
Oh, sorry, mate.
No. I'm talking about the.
Right.
Comment put in there. I was gonna put that boy's goalkeeping because he was horrific.
Yeah,
he struggled to catch a few things. Scott Cameron says, bad as Ashworth. Keeps diving about like a bleep, does my head in. Well, yeah, he did seem to be on the ground quite a lot when he came on, to be fair. Aye, fair. I wouldn't necessarily say
you said to yourself, Pete.
Yeah, I know. I just see as we're live, mate. You know, you never know. I don't know my bad. I just had such a good weekend. I don't know. I'll you know what? I'll go for more of a personal one. I'll go for bad. Be the fact that it took us so long to get to Motherwell, like just waiting on boys to get ready at Robbie's flat. You know, in an ideal world, we'd have been there at 10 o'clock, not 12 o'clock. I think we wasted some valuable valuable boozing time there.
Yeah,
So I'll go for that. I think there's lessons to be learned from our individual performances on that Saturday morning.
the hangover from Friday took its toll, I think.
But boy, it was
This
worth it.
isn't my good, but while we were waiting for everyone to get ready, watching every Liam Boyce goal for Ross County on Robbie's
yeah.
What a video.
that was a good experience.
Well, that's going to have to become ritual now. Right, or good, Ramsey.
Well, I feel like we've spoken about everything good about the game, so I feel like should we extend it to like the day?
Go on then, yeah.
There was a lot good about the day as well. It was a good celebration.
Lennon Miller's assist for the opener was good, says Michael. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't great the weekend. He looked more in place with Ayr United rather than Celtic or Rangers. Like, but
that was loud.
I don't know. Can you come back to me? There was a lot good about that day.
Yeah, go on then, Liam. We'll go to you next.
I would go with Noah Chilvers sending Stephen O'Donnell, the ex-Scotland international, right on his arse.
Love that.
Was superb. Or if David Glover would say, right on his hole.
Yeah, superb. I think good. Yeah, there's endless. Absolutely endless. I think I'm going to have to go for that wholesome moment, though, where the county fans sang happy birthday to Don Cowie. Just a great moment. And the wave of appreciation from the gaffer, and then the mention in the post-match. Yeah. Hope he had a cracking day, because we certainly did, didn't we?
Oh, aye.
There you go. Ronan Hale back scoring goals. A great good, some would say. Ramsey, are you ready to deliver yours?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'd say the presence of one time did the voiceover for this podcast, Donald Erskine, a welcome addition to the county crew, and I hope we see him in times to come. Yeah,
potentially a good luck charm. We might have to enlist him for St Johnstone away. We might, because obviously a big clash. So Donald's get the Pat Monroe top ready, son. But anyway, that moves us on to our next favourite segment, which is, of course, should probably be rebranded Tweet of the Week. However, I'm going to kick things off, and I don't actually have a tweet. Interestingly, this week I have a TikTok. If you're like me and you spend countless hours per week scrolling endlessly on this mind-numbing app, then I finally came across my favourite video ever produced. And it's made by an account called Jordan White Enthusiast, which we all are here on this podcast. But I'll take it away and show you this absolute masterpiece of a creation that was produced post-match on Saturday.
That's fucking some result for the Well, isn't it? Holding my hand, just as natural as can be, singing.
Messi, immens Messi, encara Messi.
On to my door, we walk, and we kiss a little more. We were falling in love.
Have it.
I've been dreaming of, now we're together nearly every single day, singing. And we're so happy, and that's how we're gonna stay, singing. Well, I'm hers, she's mine.
Wow, wasn't that absolutely fantastic?
That was unreal.
I don't need to do any explaining. If you watched this in the YouTube version, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But for those listening on Spotify, the only thing I have to say is go and watch it. Jordan White Enthusiast at County Season on TikTok. Fabulous.
I wonder if Don Kerry pulled off a knee slide that good during his playing career.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he did. Liam, have you got a tweet / social media post that you would like to share?
Yeah, I actually don't. I would go with that as well. Yeah, no.
Okay, fair.
Sorry.
Oh, I know we discussed this before, and I said I had another TikTok, but it actually wasn't the one you chose, Peter. It was the one from the official club account. But we don't have it. I don't think we've got it locked and loaded to show on the pod. So I've got a tweet. It's from Cody Thompson RCFC on Twitter, and it's a picture of the away form table last 5 games. It shows. Oh no, I think it's just over the course of the season actually. Away form over the course of the season. Ross County 5th place, and he's added it on a Minecraft achievement that says "Challenge complete. How did we get here?"
That's good. I know. That's what I said earlier. The turnaround, mental, absolutely mental. Well, Liam, you've let the side down now. I'm not going to lie, mate.
Sorry.
I thought you'd know better by now. But I'll let you off this week, soon as we won a game of football. But that moves us on. Coming to the tail end of the podcast now. But another huge clash. Some would claim a 6-pointer coming up on Saturday. We welcome Dundee to Dingwall to the Global Energy Stadium. Ramsey, how are you feeling ahead of this one?
I'm confident, but I'm nervous. It really does have that 6-pointer feeling to it. I know that's mad, isn't it? Also, I have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that I am not a curse.
Yeah, fair.
And that was actually since I've been back from my dad's in America, that was the first game I've been to, and it was a 3-0 win. So I'm quite happy to put that one to bed. But what was I saying? Dundee, we've beaten them twice before this season. We've shown we can do it. They're not in a great place at the moment, I don't think. So typical County, we'll probably make it hard for ourselves, but I think in the end we'll have what it takes.
Liam, are you in a similar vein to Ramsey, confident of gaining the big 3 points and the potential ramifications of this game? If we lose, we slip back to 11th. If we win and results go our way, we could finish the weekend perched in the top 6.
Yeah, no, we'll smash them. Easy. They haven't scored against us this season. What makes you think they're going to score on Saturday?
There you go. That's confidence, and I like it.
No, I am a bit nervous, actually. But they've been rubbish. Like, the times I've watched them, they're not very good.
Yeah,
so,
fair.
I think if we perform anything like we did against Motherwell, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I definitely think that, early season performances against Dundee, we can definitely, take confidence from those. But now, I was lucky enough to be at the press conference today, so we can hear a good chunk, 9 minutes to be precise, of what Don had to say to the media this afternoon, actually. So we will be back to discuss once we have a watch of this.
Obviously, place is really upbeat. Another really good away performance, good result. Sets us up nicely for another really important game this week against Dundee. Well, I think they'll be disappointed with the results that they've had recently. It's still a team who finished in the top 6 last year, had a fantastic season, very good manager. I think they'll see it as a real opportunity in terms of where we are both in the league. Coming to us, they know if they can win the game, they go above us, and that'll be a big incentive for them. But we're in a really good place. We're looking forward to it. We'll prepare right as we always do, and try and give the best version of ourselves on Saturday.
And do previous results this season give you confidence going into that?
Well, it wasn't, obviously it's important. It was nice to win the 2 previous games against them, but I'm sure come Saturday the boys won't be thinking about that. I'm certain Dundee definitely won't be. So that's gone. It's done. It's just to make sure that we're ready for what comes at us this week. I think everyone's that was in the squad last week's all good, all fit and healthy. Nightingale's another week, further on from last week, which is really good. And Alex Samuel is getting closer to be part of the group.
Donna, after your post-match on Saturday, I would imagine you celebrating your birthday, sitting at home on your own, maybe munching a packet of popcorn or something like that. But possible at the same time with a very warm glow of satisfaction at another excellent away result.
Yeah, it's we always have a long journey back after majority of time away from home. So you have a lot of time to think and process the game that's just been played. It's been really enjoyable in the last few weeks in terms of travelling back up north with 3 points. Really happy and satisfied with the way the team's performing. And Saturday was another example of that. It's all about the players, the way they played, the way they executed the game plan, and that gives you satisfaction, and you can switch something on in your phone and watch it to try and pass the journey and be in a nice moment. It does, and we spoke about it after the Rangers game. Up until the split, that's us finished with Old Firm. We now go into a group of, I think it was 7 games, or was it 8? It was 8 games at the time. All winnable games, all very challenging games and difficult ones, but ones that we feel we can be really competitive in. And Motherwell was the first one. We got the 3 points. We now move on to Dundee.
Don, obviously there's a couple more outgoings this week with Logan Ross and Josh Reid. Just tell us a bit about the loan moves for those boys.
Yeah, so Logan, we felt it was important for him to go out and play. There was a period where he was going out in an emergency loan, into the Highland League, and it was a bit, there wasn't that continuity there for him. As always, we look to see what's available for him. We would like to maybe get him in the Football League to push him and challenge him at that level. But there was nothing that had come forward in terms of that option. So we thought Clack was a really good option. It's close by and a team that's doing extremely well this year. And in terms of Josh, I've been really open and honest with Josh, like I have with every player. He hasn't had the game time that he would like this year, and I just feel that it's an area of the pitch that we are well covered, with Zach Ashworth coming in and already Harmon being here, Eli Campbell could play there, George Robinson can play there. So again, I thought it was important to give Josh that option to go out and play regular football, and again at a very good level in Partick Thistle. So Josh is still very much our player. He's still got another year after this year, so what we want is a Josh Reid that comes back in the summer flying and ready to go.
And obviously he played 45 minutes straight away, made his debut. That's obviously a good start for him down there.
Yeah, and that's what he needs, because Josh trained really well, putting a lot of effort in, but when he wasn't maybe seeing that pathway in terms of getting in the team, that's when maybe frustration can come, and that's when at that point it's important to give that option for a player to go out and loan, and for him to get 45 minutes is a good start, and hopefully that then becomes 90 minutes as the weeks go along.
And Chris Doolan obviously left Partick Thistle this morning. Could that have any impact on his loan there?
Well, it could always have an impact. I think that's football. A new manager, I would imagine, will come in with his own ideas. It's unfortunate timing for Josh within a week that the manager has changed or has left, and I think again we all know that can happen at any time in football. What's important is Josh just concentrates on himself and give the best version of himself in training every day to catch the eye of whoever's leading that football club.
And obviously we were speaking to Conor Randall earlier. How important are players like him and Jordan White, who've been in kind of different situations, playoffs, top six, they've kind of experienced it all here? Is there a bigger reliance on them going into this crunch period of games?
There's a big reliance on them because of the characters they are at this football club, the service that they've given this football club over the last 4 or 5 years, the number of appearances they've played at this level, what they give us on a day-to-day basis at this club. They set the example every single day, the way they train, the way they conduct themselves. So that's the demand that's on them, and then it's about them using their experiences that they have in the game to help those around them, and they're two really good role models for that.
Well, that brings us back a little bit from the gaffer there, and obviously, as he mentioned, there some important news to talk about. Ramsey, I'll come to you first, and we'll just talk about these. As a trio, all kind of in the same situation, maybe barring Logan Ross, but obviously young goalie joining Clark on loan, and Charlie Telfer today. It was announced after the press conference that he's going to be joining Hamilton on loan to the end of the season, and Josh Reed going to the Championship, also joining Partick Thistle on loan to the end of the season. Are these good moves for these players, and kind of it's probably for the best that maybe they've been shipped out in a way?
I think, first of all, Logan Ross, I think Clark are doing unbelievably well this year. I went down to see them a few times at the start of the season. Obviously, haven't been so much since because I'm living in Glasgow. But they look a very, very solid team. But also, they're not impenetrable enough that he's not going to get action and face shots and have to command his box, etc. So great move for him. Obviously, as Don said, it would be good to see him in the 42 in the Football League, but obviously there's only 42 positions if he was not even, because he's obviously not going to be moving to the Premiership, but there's only a select few positions he'd be competing for. So great move for Logan Ross, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Liam, I'll come to you and ask you about Josh Reed. Obviously, someone who came through the club's academy, went away and came back. And, since he has come back, he's struggled for game time. And Zach Ashworth coming in has kind of frozen him out the team in a way. But Partick Thistle's a pretty good standard alone move for him to get back to his best.
Yeah, definitely. I think he came back and he wasn't quite the player that left, I thought. He did lose a bit of a yard of pace, but he's had injury struggles. So I think, and in the team we've got just now, we need competition. And I think with his injury problems, you couldn't rely on him as a second left back to Harmon when Harmon's had his own injury problems as well. So I think it's best for the club that he's moved out on loan, and certainly Partick Thistle is a great move because they're a team that plays football. They're an attacking team. He'll get plenty of game time, hopefully. He'll be going for the playoff spots and everything. So I think it's a really good move for both of us, and hopefully he comes back fully fit and ready to go next season.
As of today, Crystal sacked their manager as well.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, Chris Doolan's gone. So hopefully whoever comes in, sees Josh for the player he is, and he'll be the starting left back.
Sure, Kettle will.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be an ideal scenario for Josh if it was to be Kettlewell who went for that job. But the third player out of the door, which was announced just this evening, actually, is Charlie Telfer, signed in the summer after spending a trial period here following his exit from Airdrie, where he was Player of the Year. Came in, and a signing I was, quite intrigued by, not excited by, I wouldn't say, but someone who I thought might fly under the radar and do well, but has severely struggled for game time throughout the season, both pre-January transfer window and post now. We've strengthened even further. Definitely a player who's got talent, perhaps not at Premiership level, some would argue, but he's followed Ricky Lamy on loan to Hamilton, and he'll get game time there. So it's, again, another one that's probably best for both parties, would you say?
Unless I'm proven wrong and he goes out and plays really, really well at Hamilton. I think that's just one where obviously wish him the best, but I don't think we'll see him in the county top again.
Yeah, I think he kind of slips into that category of kind of like Ross Callahan and Kyle Turner, they've come to us and it's just not really worked out. and the fact that we've signed so well in the midfield, like there's no opportunity for him, which is a shame because I thought he was going to be a really good player. I thought he would have been starting at the start of the season, and obviously impressed enough to get a contract on trial. So he's clearly got it, but. Yeah, I agree with Ramsey. I don't think he'll be back to us, but I think he will get a good move. He'll go to he'll either stay at. I think he could go to someone better than Hamilton. I think.
Yeah, there you go. Michael says we won't see Telfer in a county top again. Contract in the summer. Yeah, I mean, I would probably be inclined to agree. To be honest, a bit annoyed we didn't get to see more of him because, as you said, Liam, there's obviously something there. Don went to the length of giving him a contract in the first place, and I don't believe he would have done that just as a player for cover. But I also think he's one of those players similar to Laturi. He maybe just doesn't fit into the way we want to play right now, in that he's not an out and out 6, he's not a 10, and then is he an 8 that's gonna work really hard and bust a gut all over the pitch like Randall and Kenna will? I'm not sure he is. So yeah, I think just it is genuinely just one of those ones that hasn't really worked out for the best since he's. But just swinging it back to Dundee before we move on to some questions.
Sorry, Pete. Can I just say one more thing about Telfer? In response to what Michael said, I will say it's not like he's not 100% out of contract. We've actually got an option to extend for another year. I will say I will be very surprised if we take that option. But
I didn't know we had that, so that's very interesting.
In case he pops in like 15 assists at Hamilton or something ridiculous like that. But I don't know. Yeah.
But it depends what happens at the end of the season, because if we don't get Kenna back and stuff like that, we might be quite short in midfield. But I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah. So swinging it back to Dundee just very briefly, instead of debating and going through a whole lineup, we played incredibly well. We scored 3 goals and kept a clean sheet. So there's one simple question that I posed to both of you. Liam, I'll come to you first. Would you make any changes to the team going into a big crunch match 6-pointer on Saturday against Dundee?
Nah, absolutely not. I think you would be stupid to make a change. I don't think there's anybody who particularly comes in and improves it, and there's obviously no improving on that performance, but no way.
Ramsey, are you inclined to agree? Keep it the same?
No, harsh on especially Josh Nisbet on the bench, but I don't think you can justify changing the team at the moment. I think we finally found a very good balance for that 3 at the back, no wingers formation. I was very impressed. But I also, despite me saying I wouldn't make any changes, I think we've got options on the bench now that can go ahead and hurt teams. I think George Beston came on and had some good touches. I thought looked very positive.
Definitely not. I'm cursed in the jail end, Mike. Don't worry. I'm staying far, far away.
Yeah, Robeston looked very willing to drive forward. Obviously, Nisbet came on and set up the winner. The winner, I say, as if we weren't already 2-0 up. Set up Randall's goal. And Andrew McLeod, who obviously we're all big fans of. So, yeah, very happy with our options off the bench. But no, I wouldn't change anything.
Well, thank you for that, lads. Very much looking forward to the game on Saturday. And our first question from our listeners on Twitter ties in nicely with that. It comes from Stephen McKenzie, and he simply just says, can we beat Dundee? Liam, can we?
Yes.
Ramsey?
Yes.
Love it. Simple as that. Confidence flowing through the Staggies veins.
Feels good.
Next question. What was this? Yeah, it does feel good.
What is this feeling? Is it like... Can I get Rangers and Celtic fans now? I could get used to this.
Never say that ever again.
Sorry, that was terrible.
So we've got 2 similar questions here. We'll kind of combine them into one. One comes from Jack Howard, good friend of the podcast, and the other coming from FPL Hugo. They're both asking, do we actually have a chance of finishing within the top 6? Do we, Ramsey?
Before Saturday, I'd never mentioned that as, being anything but tongue in cheek. But we've got a decent run of fixtures now, and if we stay consistent and play the way we have been playing, anything can happen. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like, it's such a tight league. Um, we could still just as well be in a horrible, horrible relegation battle. But I don't know, man. Like, first of all, win on Saturday, but anything beyond that, and we genuinely could be looking at it.
Liam, how are you feeling in regards to a potential top 6 finish?
I mean, on paper, we've probably got the best run of games of the teams around us, which is important. I mean, like, any team that has to play Rangers or Celtic that's left is basically at a -3 point disadvantage to them, probably. Obviously, they could, we've seen it before where Motherwell have beaten them and stuff like that. But we've got a really good chance. But yeah, as Ramsey said, we could equally be here in a few weeks' time going, it's looking a bit dire. But I'm positive. So I think, I don't know, top 6 might be a bit of a stretch, but I think we'll finish thereabouts.
Okay. Well, we've got a controversial comment here from Mike, and one that I wholeheartedly do not agree with. I will say, I think a top 6 you take 100% over 7th with more points than
Yeah,
6th.
because like if you're this, I've got my own opinions on the split. I'm a bit mixed on it, but if you finish 6th with less points than 7th, it's still more impressive because it's well documented that you have more difficult fixtures. I don't think anyone's like pointing and making fun of you if you finish with less points than 7th, if that makes sense. Because you have to play Celtic, Rangers, etc.
Yeah, and I think for me, prize money, you get more money for finishing 6th than you do 7th. So I think you want to finish 6th.
Yeah.
I think it's just as straightforward as that. On to the next question on Twitter. Also comes from FPL Hugo. Liam, this is probably one for you that you'd be interested in answering. He says, what 2 strikers should we start out of Phillips, Hale, and White, with Chilvers perhaps as a second striker or behind them? Liam?
I think that's our best. I think that's our best 3 because it's so dynamic, that 3, because you've got Phillips, who's tall but can also run, and he loves running the channel. Then you've got Hale, who's a penalty box striker who just loves getting on the ball, getting chances, and he needs to be fed by somebody. And then Chilvers just runs about and does whatever he wants. It gives that license for, sometimes we're a bit static up front. I find with White, as much as I love him, I don't get the hate that he gets. Great player, but I can see in some systems why he doesn't work. But I think I love that front 3. I think it's great.
Yeah, Ramsey, would you be sticking with that, or would you be pitching Jordan White back in? And then today also, Don Cowie confirmed that Alex Samuel is in fact back on the grass. So another positive for the squad.
That's very good. But no, I wouldn't be changing anything. I think also something I've said before is that I think a lot of people have this image of like target men and not necessarily the fastest strikers, as they're not the type of players you bring off the bench to make an impact. Obviously, you're looking at players as fast as Alex Samuel who can come and stretch teams. I think Jordan White has has proven time and time again. He did it on his debut for the club off the bench and completely changed the game for us. So no, it's not. There's more than one way to make an impact off the bench, and Jordan White's shown that. So just because in my eyes he doesn't get the start on Saturday doesn't mean that he's not going to have a part to play.
Yeah, because he can definitely shore up, because he tends to drop quite deep as well. So if you bring him off the bench while you're winning, you've got an extra target man. He loves getting stuck in. So yeah, I think he's got a important part to play.
100%. The following question. Shame Robbie isn't here for this one because he would have had an absolute field day with this. This one comes from Stag Inver, who says, who are our greatest rivals following the demise of Inverness Caledonian Thistle? Ramsey?
I mean, my least favorite team outside of the Ugly Sisters and Cali is Dundee United, but I wouldn't really call that a rivalry.
Yeah, it's Brora maybe.
I don't know. I would probably
say that is the worst part of Cali's demise is having no proper derby.
I agree, Gordy. I also do not like Dundee United.
I don't know, St Johnstone maybe.
Yeah, St Johnstone, Aberdeen, geographically.
I was going to say
the scraps we have with St Johnstone, like Aberdeen's not really like, although they're always close games, they're miles ahead of us.
I was gonna say, Liam, if we had a season where like we like signed all the right players, kept all our best players, and we were like right up like 4th, 5th, and we were playing Aberdeen, then yeah, I'd say probably them. But as we are right now, it's no game really has that level of fire for me.
A couple more shouts coming in there. Lee says hate Livingston. I mean, we play them a lot.
So does everyone.
The games are always turgid, you know. Yeah, if it was a better town for an away day, you'd consider them, I think. But I think that brings them down. And then BM RCFC says A9 Derby against St Johnstone. Yeah, strong shout. I think they could be in a contention.
Yeah. What's it like? What's the last game? What's the last county game in which there is like, you know, like handbags? I can't really remember any.
I don't know. Yeah, not sure.
I don't know. I miss the days of Brian Graham punching Sean Rooney. Mind when we beat Cali and like at the end of the game, I think it was Ross Draper's first derby after joining county, and he was like thumping the county badge at the end of the game.
Next question comes from CT RCFC on Twitter, and he says, this is interesting. He says, how did Chilvers, Hale, Akil Wright, and Jordan Amisa compare to an all-time county 11?
Oh, that's
yeah,
not yet. Too early.
I mean, could any of them?
If we wanted to like make the question more interesting, you could say who's the closest.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you there. Could any of them be needing it already, or will any of them need it?
Nah.
I think if Akil Wright sees out his 3-year contract, I think he would go in mine if he continues this level of consistency and performance.
Maybe.
But the thing is, like, the thing that, like, if we were to do an all-time 11, the thing they have is cup runs.
And the other thing is, I mean, yeah, like, these players haven't achieved anything yet. If we go and finish top 6 this season, then you can start arguing that some of them could get in, I think, because they would have achieved something. But yeah, I think right now, none of them are touching the sides, really, to be frankly honest. As good as they are in this kind of team.
That isn't to say that I don't absolutely love every single one of them.
I mean, we just like, just think about it in your head, like compare, like, you know, Boyce and Schalk, you know, Hale's not getting in there. Back line of, say, Davies, Boyd, Akil Wright's not getting in. Vigers, whoever, Richie Britton, you can name 100 of midfielders that we've had. Chilvers probably wouldn't get in. So, you know.
And the mess is getting nowhere near Scott Fox. I mean, he won player of the year when Boyce got the golden boot. So, I mean, like, that's mental.
Even after Scott Fox, we had like Michael McGovern, like
Laidlaw.
Oh, come on.
Ross Laidlaw, is it? Liam, I like.
Nice.
Wait, guys, stop.
I think Ross Laidlaw is so like he's closer to being there than you think.
Ramsey, stop yourself. The next question is from Joseph RCFC. I'm going to let you two bulls go head to head and battle it out. Who is better, Jordan Amisa or Ross Laidlaw? Go.
What, like now?
Do it. Battle it out. Who's the better goalie?
If it's like now, current form, or even this season,
no.
It's a general question. Who is the better goalie?
No.
100%.
No. This is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but I'm not a massive fan of Ross Laidlaw. I think...
Don't exactly make a secret of that, mate.
I know. But for new listeners, no. I don't think... He's a great shot stopper, a terrible goalkeeper. He can't kick the ball. He can't claim crosses.
That, Liam, that is so harsh. The thing I think you're holding on to when Ross Laidlaw came to the club and he was like meek and he was sort of a shy goalkeeper. I think across his time here, he's got so much better at commanding his penalty area.
Nah, I think he's gotten better. I don't think he's good. I think a miss is already better than him commanding a penalty area.
Like he's
because he actually speaks to his defense. Ross Laidlaw is silent all the time.
That's not true.
There was a period of time where I thought he was really good. He's such a confidence-driven goalkeeper, I find. Because let's be honest, was it not 3 years in a row we were the highest conceding team in the league?
True. True.
You can't
However,
argue.
I think if you look at every single one of his goals, I think the proportion that Laidlaw could have done better or had a clanger was extremely low.
Well, see, the problem is, right, and this fell on the shoulders of players like Jack Baldwin as well, is they cost us too much points. His mistakes cost us points, and that's what screwed us over. It's not like he makes a bundle that goes around the post. Like he makes a bundle that goes in the net. Like there's a few instances, but I'm not taking away because he did make like some unbelievable saves. And he definitely saved us points as well. Like, I think he was an okay goalkeeper. I don't think he was a good goalkeeper.
Oh, Liam. No.
Over his whole time, for a period of time, that one season we got top 6, he was excellent. Either side, he's not that.
I think even at our worst over the past, if you want to talk about, I don't know, the Malky era, I think if you were to look back and look at his saves and even some of his big concessions, because I'm not stupid, there were some. I think the amount of points he saved us, supersedes the points that he lost us, and I think that's.
But would another goal, would a misser in that net have also saved the points plus not done the stupid stuff?
I know the weather is bad, but Amisa's been here 2 months and he's had a high-profile clanger. I'm not saying it was in bad weather, but if that were to continue at that proportion over a number of months, we'd be sitting here saying the same thing about Amisa. But that's not really fair either. So
yeah, but I can't predict how good he's going to be. I can only look at what I've seen so far.
That's fair.
I think
that's part of why Laidlaw. I don't think this is even a conversation. Ross Laidlaw.
Nah, I would go a misser. I feel more confident if a misser's on that team sheet than Ross Laidlaw.
Right now, absolutely, but no.
Anytime.
Pete, sorry. Liam, I'm not laughing at you. The only reason I'm laughing is I've looked to the corner of the screen and I've looked at Pete's face.
Pete's just loving it.
Yeah,
that was
every
fantastic.
week we have this conversation.
Absolutely fantastic, brilliant debate, lads.
Does anybody agree?
Should do like a poll. I don't know. Polls. I don't think a poll is going to really do Liam's argument justice because Laidlaw is a very popular player. How would you word that poll? I don't. Maybe not. Never mind.
To play devil's advocate, could you argue, Ramsey, that there's maybe an element of Ross Laidlaw having the the sort of what's the word, like having the big moments and having the the kind of even like the street cred, if you will, like having been there for being the hero in the playoffs, you kind of been there in the top 6. If you kind of I don't know what I'm trying to say, but could you argue that?
I know what you're trying to say, Pete, but like that doesn't take away that's what adds to how good he's been for us. Like that doesn't take away from how good he's been for us at all.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's so popular doesn't detract from how good he's been for us. He's popular because he's had big moments. He's kept us in games. He's kept us in the league in the shootout. But he's been a very solid goalkeeper and he's been a good player for this club.
And I would trade him for Amisa any day.
Okay.
Right, well, I'm not going to pitch in on that debate because I'm too fenced. I'm too fenced by it to swing one way or other. So I think you two balanced out perfectly. I mean, if you're listening and you have an opinion, then you can slag either Liam or Ramsey for that. So that was, in fact, the last question on Twitter. However, we did have a bonus one, which I said earlier we were going to mention, and it's very similar to the last one. It's going to be debate based. I don't know if I feel comfortable getting involved in this, but it is Noah Chilvers a better player than Jan Danda?
In what way? Just like all around.
Whatever way you want to take it. I think there's, we kind of discussed it on the group chat, Liam, and that, there's elements of their game which supersede each other. For example, I think set pieces, Jan Danda was far superior. Crossing, I think Jan Danda was far superior. I think passing in general, probably, I would say Jan Danda the better player. However, I think dribbling and, being able to take on a man, no one gets near Noah Chilvers. He might be the best I've seen at that in a county top in a long time anyway. So I don't know. I'll hand it over to you two now to bring up some more points. But Danda or Chilvers?
I think Noah Chilvers is more exciting to watch, but I think Danda's the better player. I don't know how I'm going to word this.
I think natural. Sorry, Ramsey. I was going to say I think natural gifted ability. I think it's Danda. I think there's just something he has that's like, just the way he kicks a ball in a way. I think it's just good. Like, he just has that ability in him. Whereas I think Chilvers is more kind of, he's more powerful and flashy, kind of, if you will. Whereas that wasn't really Danda's style.
I will say this conversation is maybe a little unfair to Chilvers because obviously the type of club we are, every game is important. Every game could be the difference between staying up and relegation. But I don't think we've seen Chilvers yet in a moment where the chips are down. As in, like, do you know what I mean? I think Jan Danda has, been in really, really bad moments for Ross County. No, Lee. No, I think the tackles thing. I think sorry, Liam. I know I'm speaking a lot here.
Right.
This is the last thing I say. I think Danda, because of his size and his slight frame, I think far too many people made the assumption that he was weak and a luxury player. Jan Danda left everything out on the pitch for Ross County. Like, he put tackles in.
I'm going to add to this. I also agree. I think you talked about, being in the moments when the chips are down. I think we saw multiple occasions where Jan Danda wasn't in the Ross County team and we were terrible. We lost. We didn't know who to pass the ball to. As soon as we tried to move through the midfield, we were lost. We didn't have any creative spark. We didn't have anyone who could put a good ball in the box. We didn't have anyone who could take a decent free kick and deliver and create a chance out of nowhere. That was so valuable. And I think we also saw moments where Jan Danda didn't start and came off the bench and the game flipped on its head. The team instantly started playing passes, creating chances, and, even scoring goals as soon as he came on the park. Like, genuinely, I think something tweaked as soon as he stepped on that pitch and the team improved as a whole. I think we're yet to see that with County, whereas now, say if we were to, for example, take Chilvers out of the team and replace him with Nisbet or someone else, I don't know what kind of impact that would have. So I think if we could see that would give me more of an understanding. But as everyone who listens to this podcast know, I love Jan Danda and will defend him to the absolute hills and back. And I think, stuff about him, not caring and that is all a preconception because he signed a pre-contract. He worked his arse off until the very end. And, scored some massive goals for County, created some massive chances in the big moments. Think about both the playoffs. Who was the player who was stepping up, grabbing it by the scruff of the neck and taking the game to the opposition in the playoffs? It was Jan Danda and Simon Murray. Those were the two who kept us in the league 2 years straight, in my opinion, and that can't be understated.
Yeah, I mean,
really
I think there's a few points there that I'll maybe kind of elaborate on, but see like our reliance on Danda to play well. Would you not put, like, obviously, I think Danda was an unbelievable player. I think on his day he's a 10 out of 10. Whereas I think Chilvers is a, like, on his day, like, I know you Ramsey said it was a 10 out of 10 performance. I think it was a 10 out of 10 performance for him. But I think it's like maybe like an 8 or a 9, whereas Danda was the man. But that our reliance on Danda was also kind of down to how not very good that squad was. Apart from like we only have the luxury to take out Chilvers because we have a player like Nesbitt who can play.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
I don't know. Danda was a weird one. I thought I would kind of agree with Lee that he did shy at tackles, but that wasn't his job, if you know what I mean. Like he was a bit of a luxury player. I think for us, I think for a team like us, he was far above our level, which is why he produced so much. But at the same time, I would have rathered, if I were to build a county team, I would have. Would I?
I'd have both, mate. I'd have both.
I don't know why, but like we can't afford both, can we?
Yeah, well,
I don't know. It's difficult. At points, I thought Danda was. There were some games where I watched him. And I was like, if he wasn't performing, he wasn't creating anything, and you might as well have taken him off the pitch. I found, but that's nothing to do with him. It's like probably more to do with the team. But he would keep him on just in case he did create something, and often he did. I would say the crossing that wasn't a corner. Good. Corners, he hit the first man. I don't think he was pretty good at corners.
Yeah, I think
that's just like his overall play was amazing, but he's a different player.
Yeah, they are. They're very different. Although they're there to be compared and they play in the same position, their style of play is very different. For example, like some of the dribbles that Chilvers was going on Saturday, Danda would never have done that. He would have played 1-2s and 3-4s and then got in behind the defense by doing that. I had another point there, but it's gone out of my head. But both unbelievable players. But I would say if Chilvers can maintain this level till the end of the season and maybe kick it on into next season, then you start to look at him being the more viable asset and the more influential on the team. But I think the influence Jan Danda had on the two squads he was a part of was so far superior.
Yeah,
I think Jan Danda, I think in my eyes, is a better player than Noah Chilvers. However, and I want to know what you guys think about this. I think obviously Danda went to Hearts and they started playing him out wide, like sort of in that wide left position. I think if you had to pick a player between Danda and Chilvers to do that, you pick Chilvers.
Yeah.
But that speaks more to Hearts using Danda in a stupid way.
Well, I think
they've got Spettle though.
But he's been playing on the right. Hearts have done nothing but disrespect Danda. Seriously, it enrages me. Like it's to be promised, a move there and to be part of it, and then to just be not utilized properly in your best position under multiple managers. Yeah, it's just shite. And I hope he gets a move to a team that actually values his performance in the summer, because
are you hinting something
wasted on the bench. I hate Neil Critchley
and Stephen Naismith.
Yeah, it was Naismith's fault initially, to be fair, but Critchley just as bad.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah,
come back to the Highlands.
Yeah, mate, we should have got him alone. Should have. Well, that concludes it, lads. No more questions. Couple of couple of nice lengthy debates at the end
A
there.
couple of really good questions in there.
Yeah, that was a good podcast in my opinion.
Yeah.
We saw Liam's chicken as well.
I know.
I know that was
eat it now.
Yeah. What are you gonna make with it?
I'm gonna air fry some tatties, like cubed tatties. I'm just gonna have a roast, mate. Can make some gravy.
Nice. Love that.
Late at 9 o'clock at night. Superb.
Yeah. Well, Liam, Ramsey, thank you for joining me on the Staggies View podcast. Thank you to the listeners who watched throughout, and thank you to the listeners who will watch and listen afterwards as well. You can follow us on social media at Staggies View to join in the conversation. And hopefully next week we'll be back with another Happy Cheery podcast. But we are Ross County at the end of the day, so there's no guarantees with that one. But nevertheless, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.